That's just the thumb.
그림자는 거두어지므로.
I'm going from an Ancorp jump scare to a potentially finger-related jump scare. Now we're getting past the 50.
관찰은 끝났습니다.
나라도 그렇게 했을 테지. 이만하면 이기는군요.
자,
또 3번 수감자가 헛짓이라도 했나 보군.
I was afraid there for a second, Ryoshu. I keep forgetting the 7th person is also in the fight. Almost didn't believe it. But so were they.
전투 감각 하나만큼은 수감자에게
숨통 끊기.
이제
대성공이야.
알아들을 수 없는 말투만
노래
붙이면
부를까?
딱 좋겠어. 4번 수감자.
Don't have it yet.
명령대로.
God, I kinda was supposed to focus me on.
아직 죽지 마라.
That's just rude.
더 이상 얻을 정보는 없군요.
적출할게요.
승객이 딱콩당 먹였어.
Sound better be able to get the eagle off this time. Before getting staggered.
다시 복구하긴 힘들걸요?
So I didn't know this one hit multiple.
그분의 초상이요. 가까이서.
Mainly because I haven't used it.
쓸모가 없지 않아.
That's why I'm fine with less egos. This battle pass, because I won't use it. I already have my most used ones.
깔끔하게.
Some of the ones that you try to give me, I will still probably not use.
가죠. 반복하겠는가? 자,
You really would have been nicer if you'd done that on the other
더
one.
이상 얻을
That
정보는
had way more health.
더 이상 얻을 정보는
그래. 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니
But okay, I
보는
guess we're
맛이 나는
still good.
일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이.
Remain inside the hall after the battle was devastating. Many in the audience seats had fled, and the seats were once brimming with people were only half filled. And the candidate zone down here was littered with bodies and candidates who were mauled to death. Meanwhile, the jar monsters, having eaten their fill, had already crawled back into the jar. I looked around and saw some candidates still holding tightly onto the treasures they had brought to the contest, even as they draw their last breaths. Midst of all the destruction stood the cause of this chaos, watching the slaughter play out with assured confidence. How will you attain freedom from aging? How will you argue freedom from death with minds so dull and bodies so frail? What say you, judges? I present before you not only the clue to immortality, but also a treasure that brings ruin to those who would dare deceive you. Here are my answers to the perennial question. So you have brought us the clay of the jar. It can be said that those who fail to survive this do not qualify as It can be said that those who fail to survive this do not qualify as family hierarchy candidates, yes? Pan of the Ryoshu family passes. He has a pass when he almost got everyone here killed. All that matters is that what he has brought meets their standards. Looks like he managed to get his big two birds with one stone. Eliminated the distracting rabble from the competition. If we ever run into that bastard in round 2, you better let me take more than a few swings at him. 28th candidate, Ryoshu of the Shi family. But no one walked up to the platform. As he has failed to appear, he is eliminated by default. He's potentially one of the corpses on the ground. Jicheng called out a few more names thereafter, but 29th candidate, 30th candidate, the number of candidates has clearly been called, but none appeared. Disappointing, MB. Yeah, all the mediocre bunch got wiped out from that attack. And the leftovers are exhausted. Ryoshu looked around as though she was doing some sort of critique. Huh? That look. This Akiyama looking. Okay. Ryoshu deals with the fingers. They're in her, like he was in the art. But oh man, you look like Akiyama from the Yakuza series. You got the suit, the hairstyle, the fact that there's a cigarette and cigar in your mouth. That motherfucker. Yeah. Albeit thought you'd gone and vanished into the earth. What the hell are you doing crawling around here? Girl, I saw you giving me the evil eye. At least have the decency to say hi, eh? Ryoshu? That guy's talking to you, right? And in a very, very rare display of raw emotion, I realized that she was anxious and furious. Oh, do you know him? What an absolute unit. Bloke's got at least 2 meters, gotta be at least 2 meters tall. Do not look at that man, Dante, and everyone avert your eyes as well. It is strongly recommended that we do not say a word to him. That's right, you shrimps. You gotta first rack them teensy brainos of yours. Gotta think real hard about whether you even come close to my rank before running your mouths, you hear? That shithead Li Hang. He's a finger. The thumb is a syndicate with the strictest adherence to the rigid hierarchical structure even among the fingers. And his placement in the hierarchy is the highest even among their capos. His rank is immediately beneath the position of the Soto Capo or
자그마한
underboss.
실수가 큰 싸움으로
A
번질 수
small mistake
있으니
could drag us into a battle we do not want to fight.
명령해 주세요.
Please order everyone to not say a word, Dante. I don't know what's going on, but I get it. You're saying that we're this close to having another Ricardo hunting us down, right? Yeah, let's avoid that. Do as Faust asks, everyone. Lei Hung began stomping his way through the crowd toward us, casually but forcefully, shoving anyone in his way to the side. His gait was blasé and brutish, but noticed that his eyes were fixed intently on Ryoshu. It seemed that among the crowd were some people in higher positions as well, but even they either averted their eyes or voluntarily got out of his way. He marched confidently through the frozen crowd, as though he was familiar with this kind of reception, until a cry rang out from the crowd. You there, you big brute, how dare you block young master? Oh, this servant's dead. How are you alive this long? You're dead. Oh god, you're so dead. In view, I'll have you know that you stand before a retinue of the Nongong family, the house that shall soon be one of the 4 houses. Instead of a reply, we heard a blast of gunpowder, and then saw the right arm of the man who spoke out catapult into the air. A scream muffled as Lei Hung's forcibly shoved the giant hand down the man's throat. Then, with a sound of wet meat pulled apart, he ripped the entire length of the man's tongue out through the mouth. Young Master Nong Jing, ain't it? Yeah. You owe me an arm now. Mighty sorry, but you should have kept a tighter leash on your boy's jaw. The young master of some prestigious house presented his right hand, though it was clear that he was utterly terrified. Lei Hung proceeded to grab his hand and break it off his forearm like snapping a twig. I went easy on you, boy. Seeing a friendly face put me in a good mood. Okay, 1, that's the easy route. Also, Ryoshu's the friendly face? Anywho, I don't reckon you miss the spider's house, eh? Can't imagine why anyone would. Gives me heebie-jeebies too whenever I gotta swing by. We got some catching up to do later. I'll teach you how to hold your sword real good, right like back when. Weren't mine the best out of them all. I thought I taught you how to make every cut fucking delicious.
류슈 씨,
Ryoshu,
아직 때가 아닙니다.
now is not yet the time. Faust whispered to Ryoshu in a low voice without raising her head. Shut up for a damn second.
입사 전의 약속을
Faust trusts that
아직
you still
기억하시죠?
remember the promise made prior to your employment. Get that stick out of your behind, kiddo. I ain't here to pick you up. I sure as hell ain't trying to teach you a lesson either, back when. Your baby's still at that house. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Whoo. 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 You know, wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for Ryoshu lore drops amid my Honglu lore drops. Oh. Ryoshu was grabbing the hilt. Granted, he might just say that as, but maybe that's not quite the case. He's just saying, as a last he knew, baby was still at the spider's house. Ryoshu was grabbing the hilt of her sword like she was about to unsheath it. The same sword she refused to unsheath for the duration of our entire journey. Am I wrong about that? Just one incarnation happened then. I ain't exactly nose deep in them fellers' business. You gotta understand. Guess something sure as hell went down though, didn't it?
뭔 일이 있긴.
Ooh.
이야, 겁나 재미지다. 근데
Now ain't that something? So you really fixin' to unsheath that blade, Miss Ryoshu? In a quiet but coolly stern voice, Faust calls Ryoshu's name. Ryoshu. Somebody has a neat ringtone. Ah, dang it. What in the gosh dang. My bad, y'all. I really gotta take this. It's an underboss calling. Y'all gotta understand. Alrighty then, I'll meet you later. We can talk about your daddies or shoot some other shit then. See you around, Yoshihide. I might have to pull out Ryoshu's book. They actually called them all their Yoshihide? Because that's what I know Ryoshu as from the book version. The strange man turns around and stomps his way through the crowd again, his booming voice reverberating across the entire hall as loudly and boisterously as he loudly and boisterously answers the call. He's gotta be here for the family hierarchy war, right? The outcome of the family hierarchy evaluation determines the immediately foreseeable future of H-Corp, which brings parties of varying, possibly clashing interests here. Hey Heathcliff, notice you didn't rush ahead at this time. I was worried it was going to be like the time with the middle. I know a thing or two about the thumb back from my syndicate days, and about what happened with the middle. Like I said, I had no bloody idea though who those things belonged to. Besides, that sod is more powerful and violent than Ricardo, an individual we had encountered in the past. The thumb commands its own manner of terror and violence, unlike that of the middle. As we were all sharing our impressions of Li Hang, I don't know how I'm gonna end up falling on that. Found Ryoshu frozen in place in the same position she had been when Li Hang walked past her, spacing out all the way to the pinky, huh? Ryoshu muttered something to herself, as even further chaos was about to overtake the crowd and candidates.
32번째 참가자
32nd candidate, GQ. Jia Shang called upon the next candidate. At the mere mention of the name, the chaos had swallowed the hall, immediately settled into hushed silence. You're new. You were there before. I don't remember you. I don't think you were named before either. GQ walked up to the platform, unaccompanied by his own faction, but not alone. Who are those people next to GQ? I've never met them before. Oh, then that must mean that they're Big Brother GQ's answers to immortality. Who could they possibly be? Neither of them appear to be particularly skilled in combat. They're both constantly looking around like they're nervous. They are... Faust believes that they are survivors of the library. Oh! Survivors. They are the ones who survived the impossible, inevitable odds and the insurmountable force. They are the only survivors who may have been able to explain that very force, possibly.
1차 심사 참가자
GQ of the Gia family. GQ didn't spend much time behind the curtains. He walked out as soon after, and steely expression unchanged from when he entered. The testimony rings true. They are both survivors of the place that soared beyond the stars in the city before it vanished.
출장을 구하지
It's a shame that we aren't able to
이제 와서
procure
아쉬운
ourselves an invitation then. He passes. GQ's expression did not budge. Anxiety's gotta be a foreign concept to that guy.
그럼
Then that covers all the
남은
candidates,
참가자는
it
더 이상 이
seems.
자리에 와주신
With the first round
4대
complete,
가문 모두에게
to all 4 families who have gracefully...
잠깐만요.
Excuse me! Unlike GQ, his appearance has plunged the hall into utter silence. Their stillness, Hong Lu's sudden interdiction roused the room into a roaring chaos of confusion once again. Bao, what?
아직 마지막 참가자가
I
남은 것
think you might have missed a
같아서요.
candidate.
그게 무슨
What do you
말이냐?
mean? I believe we have covered every candidate present in the list.
제가 남았거든요.
You missed me.
가시 가문의 보호기.
Jia Bao Yu of the Jia family will partake in the family hierarch evaluations. Yeah, you were just gonna wait to drop that bombshell, because I don't think any of your family actually wanted you to be
생동감이
participating.
살아있는 좋은 공간이 됐군. 다음 먹잇감도 이런 식이었으면 좋겠어.
Isn't that Jia Bao Yu?
저게 왜 이런 자리에
What's that doing here?
참가한다?
And what did he just say? What do you mean, what's that doing here? Because that's almost like calling Hong Lu a thing. I had a feeling this was going to happen, but we really kicked the hornet's nest, huh? Hark, one and all, and gaze upon our glory. In the 11th hour, doth the final band of heroes arrives. Yisung, don't pretend you're not with us, huh? At least give the audience a wave. Guys, I don't think they're taking the announcement too well. A large portion of the audience is
분노와 심려가 가득한 얼굴
vocare.
지르고 있다.
Okay. Meta, you give me like new words. You and Faust actually. Voricious? Vociferously? Clamorous. Expressing their collective confusion, wrath, and concern. These emotions are expressed by their jaws that have been open and past a certain degree. As Marisol observed, I realized that chaos wasn't restricted to the audiences. The candidates were starting to get agitated too. And there he is, the disgusting duplicitous bastard who brings annihilation to everyone around, undone with that silly innocent smile.
어떻게 된 거야?
Huh? What's going on?
우리는
I thought
가주대전
Bao
참가
wasn't
안 되는 거
participating in the
아니었어?
hierarch war. That dumbass. You knew. SYNC. Explain yourself now. Miss Saw told me to grab onto your sword like my life depended on it. If you said that exact phrase. Blimey, can we just... She mentioned you too, Heathcliff. And she told me that if you ever said anything like, can't we just give him a good beating and be done with it?
이런 광경은
Why'd you give that job to
오랜만이네요.
Sinclair? He's too afraid for this sort of shit. Huh, what a throwback.
정숙,
Decorum, I demand decorum.
네 몸에 생책이라도
I hope you do not mean to risk having your body marred. Withdraw your name, it isn't too late now.
가볼게요.
I'm heading in, Father.
33번째
33rd candidate, Bao Yu of the Jia family.
가문 앞으로.
Come forth.
단테님.
Ready, Dante?
준비되셨죠?
I don't know.
그리고
And
로슈 씨도요.
what about you, Ryoshu?
뭐든지 썰고
I'm itching to get chopping.
기분이 굉장히
Need to
더러워.
vent this shitty feeling.
파우스트 씨.
Are you sure they're gonna be okay, Faust?
괜찮은 것이 아니라
This is something that must be done regardless of the soundness of
하는
its
것입니다.
participants. Faust spoke sternly. I still quite detest this plan.
사실 누구도
Let's be honest for a second. Are any of us actually happy to go through with this? Okay, I guess there's one. Hong Lu, Ryoshu, and I walked up to the platform. It had to be this specific trio. Okay. Had to be. I was already prepared for main guy. But my girl. Two? We really doing this? Okay. Up close, it was much larger, grander, and more imposing than I thought it'd be. The entire fabric threshold. Once we walked past the curtain, as instructed, we saw Jia Yuan-chun, Jia Miu, and Jia Xing waiting for us inside. I know not what in your life beyond the hedges could have wrought this change of heart, but to see you aspire to the seat of the hierarch is indeed a sight most curious. It's been a while, big sister. Has the life of the Q Corp been treating you well? I have seen and learned much, as you must have, Balyu. Now I see your true reason for returning home today. I'm sorry, grandmother. I thought better than to let this be common knowledge. So you did. Now you have revealed your intent. Withdrawal is no longer an option. Very well. Now present the answer that you were brought here today. I'm sure you've already sat through many people standing in the same place I am now, explaining to you what it is that they brought. So I suppose you would much prefer that I give you a straightforward visual demonstration than to make you sit through a 1,000-word lecture. Hanlu gave Ryoshu a nod. Yes, I'm okay. Our answer that we may be able to demonstrate before them is resurrection via Dante's power, to show them that to us, death is but a temporary setback. A most dramatic demonstration of the ability would be to Indeed, you have certainly demonstrated something. You were truly the least dreary part of today, Balyu.
아, 그렇다면 제가 눈앞에서 목숨을 잃는 편이 제일 효과적이겠네요.
Ah, I see. So the most effective way to do it was for me to get killed in front of them.
그것도 아주
Without any
확실하게.
room for ambiguity at that. Yes. Then, does it mean that one of us has to, make sure that Honglu no longer lives? Oh wait, no need to beat around the bush. Remember what we did to each other when we first met?
그렇다면 히스클리프
Then Heathcliff, is the implication that you are still willing to murder Honglu without hesitation? Murder? Wait, what did I have to put it like that? Verily, I do not wish to hurt my good companions more than I already have. It may be a stretch to say that it is fortunate, however, we seem to have an individual among us who may be able to carry out the task in the most painless, swift, and unburdened manner. And everyone immediately turned to look at. Oh. So how would you like to be cut? Where's that fucker Lei Hang? Who's he working with? It seemed that the slicing Honglu in half did nothing to distract Ryoshu from her own thoughts. Yamu watched in silence, motionless in her seat. You have split his brain in half. You have irreversibly ended this child's life. Not even life insurance shall be able to bring him back now. Balyu. Then what will you do now? You have no means to restore this jade of the family. For your transgressions you will... Clock. Spin it. And so it turned. In one of the most high-intensity situations I've ever turned it, the muscle fibers, the nerves, the flesh that was split all began to reconnect, like a rewinding videotape. Huh? Wait. Why doesn't this hurt at all? Ryoshu's skill with the sword was no joke. I didn't even feel the slightest bit of discomfort. I doubt Honglu even realized what that he was dying.
보기가
Balyu,
못 본 사이에
I truly realize that it's been a while since we've met.
진 게
He's
분명하다.
grown quite bold.
짐승 냄새.
I smell beasts. Dark shadows happened outside the curtains, surrounding us before I even realized what was happening.
닭, 용,
Bull, rooster,
원숭이,
dragon, monkey. The Heisho are here.
불도 불사에
The task was to find the answer to freedom from aging and death,
경기를 무시하고
not to break a taboo and precipitate the destruction of our home.
이전에
It has
H's
been long
가문이 멸문한
since the family that once led H Corp was brought to ruin. No arbiter nor claw shall ravage the family of Hong Yuan again. Change Yuan appeared to ready to command the Heisho to kill us all, but GMU silenced her with a wave of her hand. You will wait.
가문님
Variable GMU.
부활이 끝나면
Once the resurrection is complete, the head will...
그러니 그
We
전에
must end this
끝내야
before they.
일각만
Hold for one moment.
단단히 섣부르면
To be rash in
반드시
judgment is to be
놓치는 것이
judged
그만이야.
incompletely.
나는
I will not lose either.
불로불사의
Our treasure and claim to immortality. Okay, I just wanted to double check. And Hong Lu was whole again. Ha!
감사해요, 류슈님.
Thank you, Ryoshu.
정말 아무런
It really didn't hurt at
아픔이
all.
없었어요.
And you too, Dante.
별말
And B.
할머니,
Grandmother, big sister Yuan-chan.
보셨죠? 이게
Did you
제가
see that?
찾은
This is the
불로불사의 방법이랍니다.
immortality I found. It works for him, and only him. Y'all can suck it.
오지 않는 건가?
Are we safe?
부시불분
If aught be owed, a swift vengeance shall arrive in time. It is simply yet to return. Jiamu's quiet hunter seemed to dissipate the forces that had surrounded us outside of the curtains.
가두심사 1차
You
참가자
value in the first round of the family hierarchy evaluations. You pass. Value of the Gia family passes. What chicory is this? I thought he was off on some sightseeing tour away from the Hongwan, and like a jobless rich kid. Wouldn't even manage to find his own answer.
1차 심사
Thus ends the first round.
합격자들은
Those who pass must prepare for the second round, set to commence tomorrow.
2차 심사와의
Remember,
간곡한
the candidates are barred from harming one another between now and the commencement of the second round of the
이것은
evaluations.
유일한 규칙으로
This is your one and only rule,
즉시
thus
탈락된다는
remember it well.
양지하기
Anyone who dare break it shall immediately be disqualified.
이상.
That is all. As soon as Jia Zhang announced the end of the first round, everyone in the audience began rushing toward the first floor. Getting mixed up with that crowd's probably not a great idea. Let's get out of here.
저희는 곧바로 홍로 씨의 방으로 이동하도록 하죠.
Indeed, let us immediately return to Hong Lu's room. And we decided to slip out of here before the curious crowd swept us away. However, as we turned around to leave... Oh, hi. Oh, you're the one who was with him before, not the other one. Stood Jia Q in our path.
아, 지우님이시군요.
Big Brother
1차
Q.
대전에 합격한 걸
Congratulations on passing the first round.
소련님도
I hear that you have passed as well, young master. Congratulations are in order, it seems. Zyugo. How is it that you, young master, who has not shown an inkling of ambition toward the seat of the hierarch, suddenly emerged as one of its candidates, positively stealing the show?
뭐 갑자기
Well,
욕심
you
낼
know,
수도 있는 거
sometimes people get swept up by random urges of ambition. Wasn't that surge of ambition your company's and not young Master Balyu's? Well, if our last meeting didn't confirm it seems like they know us well. Have we not impressed upon you enough that you were nicely to remain within the borders? Instead, he sparked such disorder at the fringes of his perimeter. Have we not impressed upon you enough that you were to nicely remain within the borders?
가시춘의 뜻에 휘둘리는 걸로.
I thought that his only role was design would be to play it as a pawn by Jiashun, no more.
주군.
My lord, perhaps you have overestimated this young master.
아직도 너는
Are you still the belief that inaction is a path without consequence?
전에 인사도 제대로 못
I didn't even
드렸네요.
get to say hello to you earlier, Brother Q.
가시 가문의 복,
Bao Yu of the Jia family formally extends his greetings to you.
성인이 된 이후론 정식으로
I realize
얼굴을
this is the first
맞대고
time
인사드리는 게
we're
처음이에요.
meeting face to face since I reached adulthood.
그나저나 이와 형님과
Speaking of
동호
which,
씨의
do
머리는
you
원래대로 잘
manage to
붙어주었나요?
stitch Brother Yua and Mr. Qingtao's head back onto their bodies? Heathcliff was the first to let out a flabbergasted gasp before the other sinners followed suit.
홍원의 형제자매끼리
I guess that's just how siblings of the Hung One greet each other, right? Seems like Miss Balchai I was just a particularly nice exception.
탓할 이유가 없는
You ask a question that deserves no answer.
일말의 준비도 없이
You have arrived here unprepared. You're ready to cast yourself into the flames for all the mere reason that your turn has come.
여전히 같은 생각이라면
If your mind hasn't changed, then it would
했던 것처럼
be wise to remain unseen and unnoticed as you were.
네, 걱정해
Yes,
주셔서 감사해요.
thank you for your concern. This facade of wisdom and pensiveness worn upon your speech
고치질 못하나 보구나.
is truly intractable.
제가 그랬나요?
Do I do that? Noticing Ryoshu's hand tighten around his weapon, Ishmael quickly jumped in. Oh, in case you forgot, there's a rule preventing candidates who pass the first round from killing each other. Hopefully I'm not the only one who remembers that. If you're going to continue to bully us, don't be surprised if there are consequences. Otis, you finished the preparations, right? The reinforcements are standing by the front gates. Huh? What? Reinforcements? Which is why I'm warning you that taking any rash action prior to the start of a second round could result in pointless skirmish for both of us. A loud boast from an illusionary army in an empty fortress, though I believe that sheer might is hardly the quality one should flaunt.
여기서 너희와 겨룰 생각은 없다.
I am not intent on fighting you here.
바보. 제
Chia
그릇에
Bao Yu,
맞지 않은 것을 담으려 하면
you will beget great suffering by endeavoring to embrace beyond your abilities. Yet he still wishes to challenge and be broken. And perhaps that outcome is simply meant to be. With that, they turned around and left us. It seems they were here only to give us a warning. What a relief. I thought we'd have to fight GQ and his Heisho pack. They did see right through us in the end. But hey, nice teamwork, Otis. What unbelievable impudence. Did you notice how they did not even glance at the rest of us? Us through that entire exchange. Zhu Baochai peeked out from the pillar before walking up to Hong Lu. You passed the first round. I'm so happy for you, Bao Yu. Seriously, what's going on here? I didn't imagine, even in my wildest dreams, that you'd be participating in the family hierarch war.
차 누나도 1차 심사에서
Congrats to you,
합격한 걸
big sister
축하해.
Baochai, for passing the first round.
나한테 숨겼을 정도면
Gathering from the fact that you hid it even from me, you really didn't want anyone to know, right?
맞아. 아마
Yeah,
나
I
때문에
imagine they
다들
must have kicked up quite the
시끌벅적했을
ruckus
것
with
같네.
everyone.
괜히
Now I'm
미안해지는
starting to feel kind of bad about this. Somehow we ended up lying to everyone.
뭐 어때요?
Hey, don't beat yourself up over it. Own it instead.
이렇게 된 거 네가
Well,
가수대전에 나가게 된
if it's
걸
all the same to you, then I want to say I'm happy that you decided to take part.
왜냐하면 내가 가수대전에 나간 사이에 네가
I was worried that you might have already left Dongguanyan, so far away from me again. By the time I finished with the family hierarch war, that would have been too bad. I'm so glad we'll get to spend more time together, even as contestants. Don't forget to say hello and give me a wave if we ever run into each other, okay? Chuvach, I left us to rejoin her faction, waving sweetly as she did so. Assuming not every round of this will turn into death for the candidate. Assuming.
돌아오셨습니까?
You have returned, young master. Yep, good evening, Jiren. Jiren bowed wordlessly, so that the same detached coldness we sensed earlier. She did not seem at all excited about her master's success today, nor did she appear to be concerned about him. A letter has arrived for you, young Master Balyu. You didn't even try the fact that the envelope was tampered with, did you? My responsibility was to deliver the letter. To protect the integrity was not one of my obligations. Hunglu, are you sure she's your maidservant? It's okay.
틀린 말은 아닌걸요?
She's not wrong.
수빈, 일로 와봐.
Jiren, can I ask you something? Jian Ling promised to play a rock tossing game with me, but I can't find him anywhere. That's, well, let's see. How many numbers have you learned so far, young master? Jiren and I learned up to 10. Then he'll be back after 100 nights sleeps. Sleep 10 nights, 10 times. That's 100 nights. Wow, that's so cool, Jiren. You're so smart. It's nothing. It's something we all learned growing up. Jiren, I slept 10 times, 10 nights. But I still don't know where Jialing's gone. Did I say that young Master Jialing was to return? You said he'd be back after 100 nights. Oh. 100 nights is hardly enough, young master. It will take at least 1,000 nights, given what they did to him. I see. You're smart as always, Jiren. Young Master, it's been years, but young Master Jialing's body is still decaying. He had lost control over half of his body. Even after he was fed the boluses I sent him, I was told to relay that your boluses were useless, young master. The decay reached his brain, and I overheard the other servants gossiping that it is impossible to recover from such a wound. The body is functionally dead. Death would be preferable, in fact. So give up your naive hope and forget about him. You're always so smart, Jiren.
관리자님, 그럼 편지를 읽겠습니다.
I will now read the letter, Executive Manager. Right, yeah. As I stood there pondering, Otis walked up to the front with a letter in hand. This is from Manager Son. Hello, everyone. Heard that you managed to pass the first round. I read this letter before I heard the news, actually. You wouldn't even be reading this letter if you hadn't passed. The heck? But let's save the celebrations for later. The real game starts in round 2. The other candidates must be making alliances, strategies, sharing information about the next round. Meanwhile, you guys are stumbling around aimless and alone before returning to your lodgings. And here you are now reading my letter. Is she watching us from somewhere? But not to worry. For your team specifically, round 2 doesn't require much strategizing, because it'll be messy and continuous battle after battle. So battle on, as you always do. Huh? It's what you do best, right? Hold on. I would like to go into more detail in this letter, but I'm sure this letter will be and has been most likely intercepted by someone from other candidates, clans, or coalitions. So in order for you to obtain our objective, you have to rely on what you have learned and gained so far, your intuition and fearlessness. Like I said earlier, we have but one purpose. Contextual clues suggest that one purpose is implied to be come in second place and attain the golden bow. Well, that wraps up everything up. Oh, one last thing. Shameless curs who have rested their eyes upon the contents of this letter without authorization shall be struck down with a curse of misfortune. Misfortune that lasts generations upon generations. Ne'er shall they ever be successful in any endeavor regardless of the nature. The bottom part of the letter has been torn off, huh? What a way to end a letter. So does anyone know what to expect in round 2? The letter really didn't help with anything at all. It would be better to learn that exact rules on site and hear from the organizers themselves. It is likely that there are forces who already have their eyes and ears on us. Executive manager, there is someone by the door. Right on cue, eh?
그건 아닐 거예요.
I don't think that's what this is. Damn it, you grab your weapons, prepare for battle. Despite our arrest, the person behind the door was none other than Jia Shi-chun. She wore an expression that we had grown quite familiar with by now, an interesting combination of annoyance and disappointment. Why do I ever expect anything better from you anymore? So you're just opening your front door for anyone without even checking on who knocked? Just like that? But I thought you were done talking with. Yeah, we get pretty heedless from time to time. But I don't think anyone who's intending to kill us would have the decency to stand and hesitate in front of my door, wondering if she should knock or not. Earlier in round 1, you had yourself killed in front of GMU and Big Sister Yuan Chun, didn't you? And revived yourself in front of them too, I presume. Right? Why even go that far, huh? What's gotten into you, big brother? Family hierarchy, really? Why now? Why all of a sudden? I can tell just from the look on your face that you couldn't care less about becoming something like that family hierarch. Is that really it? That they told you to do it? Hey Jun, imagine just for the sake of it, what if our actual goal isn't to come in first place? Do you seriously expect me to believe that? Right, totally, heck. I wouldn't buy that either. Anyways, I'm not here to ally or parlay with you. I am never ever doing anything like that with you again, brother. It'll be nighttime soon, you know. And your room's always been so dark because you barely let so much as a ray of moonlight in. Seems like she's warning us that we'll be visited by some uninvited guests soon. Yeah, no way they're letting you, a sudden unforeseen variable, spend the night in peace. But didn't they warn us earlier that round 2 candidates are prohibited from hurting each other? I see. The only thing that matters is that the exact wording of the law, not the spirit of it. AKA, if it's the candidate doing the attack, it's a bad. If it's just his lackeys, let's say some hired Heisho, then fair game. Right. They won't intervene as long as candidates not try to kill a fellow candidate, literally, with their own hands. So don't trust anyone, even your maidservants. Thanks for coming here in person, Ji-chun. Tomorrow we'll really be enemies. I know it's too late to change anything, but tomorrow... Chi-Chu stumbled over her words, trailed off, and then turned around and left as though she swallowed what she wanted to say.
사실 아가씨께서
When
여기로
she expressed a wish to visit you herself, I made 3 attempts to talk her out of it.
저의 위치에서 세
It was
번이나
highly
오는 것은
impertinent of someone of my station to advise against her 3 times, yes, but
그만큼 아가씨께서는
I implore you all to know that her choice to come here was not an easy one. I know this question can sound a bit nosy, but are things okay over there?
최선을
We will face the trial to the best of our abilities.
부디 마주칠 일이 없길.
I wish with all my heart that our paths will not cross tomorrow.
동감이요.
And I share his sentiment.
저들과는 서로
I do not wish to ever bring harm to them, nor them aid to us in turn.
그게 생각만큼
Well, when's anything ever gonna on as we wished, eh? But Heathcliff sounded just as uneasy.